So right now, I'm just gonna quickly share with you some of those old style parenting that I have learned from my parents and my grandparents that has been passed on from generation to generation. And another thing is, I am not really a super old, like I'm not super adapting that old parenting style. I kind of mixed. So I think 70% old parenting style and then 30% adapting the newer way of parenting. And there's always modification. Whatever is relevant to our today's world right now, that's what I'm adapting. And I think I cut out a little bit. Okay. I don't know why. Is my internet okay? So it's been there for centuries and it's proven to be like working well. I mean, I personally I believe that I have been raised well and my husband as well and my parents. So without further ado, let's dive into number one. Number one, old parenting style that I am adopting at this moment. And feel free to share your thoughts. I welcome healthy argument, not arguments, healthy discussion here. So we're learning from each other as well. So if you have questions, we can answer that together as well. And I'm trying to make this sharing as quick as possible because I know that your time is precious, so is mine. So number one is establish house rules. You set your rules. Like me as parent, I set my rules and my kids follow, and it doesn't matter what their friends parents rule is or say about that. We need to establish our own rule, and this is my house. You know, that authority that this is my house, I have rules. Your dad and I, we parents, your parents have rules. We need to abide on this rules. So yeah, it's like military. You're right, DJ, Disay. House rules para kami military. It's like my grandparents back then, the way my parents like narrated it to us before, it's like super strict, right? Like they don't even have voices like kids. But for me, I modify that. I asked my children, like example, we have this detox rules. So that means that if I told them time's up for your iPad, they need to stop. Like no iPad before 10 o'clock in the morning. So if I found them using iPad, let's say 9 by 9:30, and then that's automatic detox. So they know what detox means. That means that they're not having their iPad for the next 24 hours. Or it depends if they violated that rule that is, like for example, I told them 3 times already while I'm cooking, and so I told them that's your detox and you cannot have your iPad for the next 24 hours. And they just comply. I mean, that's how how life works, right? They need to know what rules are and they need to abide with that rules. So there's other kids tendencies is they have that attitude of I want to be alone mode. You know that, like I want to stay in my room. Like my kids one day they said no parents allowed in our room. Like you know that privacy that you want to own themselves. And I told them, you know what? This is our house. We have rules in this house. You're not allowed to. Yeah, I know DJ. Like I also noticed that I am reconnecting. So I thought it should be like fine right now. I don't know what happened with our internet. But yeah, talking about like when our kids said like, Mom, I want to have my privacy. I want to be alone in my room. No, that doesn't work with me. I always go to them like, we have to settle down whatever conflict, whatever drama or emotion that you have inside you. Let's talk this right now. I won't let you go to bed or because when they grow up, especially when they become teenagers, they like tend to text friends like I'm mad with my mom and you know that a lot of things would happen. So we settle down with my 7-year old, like we talk things and then most of the time we hug each other, we watch a movie together after that. we won't allow them to go to the room mad and they want their privacy. No, that doesn't work in our house. Okay. Hi, six people right there. I I am writing my notes to make sure that I am on track. And number two is be mindful of their rebellious tendencies. Every single kid, they have their own rebellious tendencies, like us adults, right? And let me start with stamping of feet. Like they're stamping their feet. And one time when I think as early as 3 year old, hi Nika, Monica, hi. Um, she's a psychologist as well. So hello, I'm glad that you're here so we can have this discussion. The doctors in the house. We have this healthy discussion about old school parents. Why I reconnect from time to time. I know I'm loading from time to time. I'm sorry about that. I don't know what happened. This is my first time to live, to make it more interactive. So I make it this way. So let's go to number four again. So be mindful of their rebellious tendencies. So go back to stamping our feet. I can't tolerate that kind of attitude because I was raised that way. Like my parents are very particular with our non-verbal cues. Like my mom would say, "Oh, you're stomping with your feet." Like, no, okay. So I need to walk as slow as I can, especially during like scolding moment when my parents just told me like, I don't like that. You need to stop doing that. So I need to be very careful and to smile. And if you're like looking like we have different culture, right? So as early I think as 2 year old or 3 year old, when I that happened to them, my first and second kid. Of course, my third one is just turned one, so I haven't seen that attitude yet. But my two girls, as early as I think 3 year old, when I was like, okay, put away your toys, and I don't want you to hit each other, or like after corrected them, then they're like, okay, getting up and then put their toys away and they're stomping their feet. So what I told them is like, come back here. I need you to come back here. Walk nicely. No stamping of feet because that means you're mad at me. Why are you mad at me? I'm just teaching you how to be a good person, how to behave properly. So I think there's always the power of explaining it to them. And I've also known some parents like they find it like amusing and they even laugh at like in front of other friends, like talking about that rebellious tendencies. And then the child is listening. So one example is like, my child is like, I told her or him not to do this, and then he or she was like stamping his or her feet, and she was like doing this tantrum, and they find it like funny or they find it like amusing, and then it will give wrong signal to the kid that, hey, that makes my mom like smile or even laugh. So I think it's cute. Sometimes I know, like at the back of our mind we're like laugh. Oh, I'm reconnecting again. I don't know what happened. So but whenever like if we have to laugh with particular behavior, like rebellious behavior, for example, we'll try to do it like just my husband and I, just for us. Like if we relate to that story, like if kids lie, right? Sometimes like she's just 3 year old, but she's like she know how to orchestrate stories, and we find it amusing, right? Like I can't imagine how she come up with that idea, and then we laugh at each other, but we make sure that the kid is not listening because again it will give him or her the wrong signal that, hey, I'm doing good, I'm doing great, like this is okay. Hello Eunice life. um Good evening, hello. They're very particular with nonverbal. Yes, that's right, Daisy. Like I grew up and I didn't understand that until now that I became one. Like I became a parent, that we need to be mindful of those nonverbal cues. Oh, we cannot talk back to our parents. No, never. And we cannot reason out, which I think that there's a need of modification there. So because I allow my kids to explain their side, but don't raise your voice, say it nicely. Like they can explain it. They have I give them the right to explain their side because that's their right as well, but always do it with respect. Okay, number three is introducing them to some concepts that they will need later in life, like concepts like consequence, concept like curfew. So my kids, like, especially during winter time, so we have I think our curfew is 5 o'clock because it gets dark. By 5 o'clock, it's already dark outside. So we tell them, okay, it's curfew time. You need to get inside our house. Absolutely true. It's inviting them to do more on the similar behavior when an adult is giving them a nonverbal. Yes, that's true, right? So that's from the psychologist's perspective. I'm glad that you, Unica, you agree it with me because again, parenting is really hard, right? Or challenging. That's why I love learning it from other people as well. So back with that curfew thing, we have lots of neighbors with small kids here as well. So they keep coming here and like, hey, Amanda, Amelia, come play with us. And then Amanda, oh, I'm reconnecting again. I don't know what happened. So my children would tell their friends, no, we can't go out or we cannot leave the house right now. We stay here because it's our curfew time. And they're like, what's curfew? They don't know that word. They don't know that concept. So I just started that, I think, last 2 years because I want them to grow up and they have that in mind that I need to be in my house because they're girls, especially, right? So I need to protect them as early as now. They develop the concept of like curfew. I need to be in our house by this time. Or is oh if summertime, like I extend it to 7 o'clock because it's still daytime. Like it's not dark yet during the time of winter. So another concept is consequence. I make sure that they understand that word. So when my 4-year-old will say, Mom, I'm sorry that I disobey the rules. I've used the iPad even if it's not time yet. I'm so sorry. Give me one more chance. All those arguments. And I said, of course, I forgive you. Everyone makes a mistake, but you need to face the consequence. That means you still have to undergo detox because that's what life is. Like if we violate some traffic rules or whatever rules in our society, well, we will be forgiven, but we have to face consequence. We have to pay fees and penalties, right? So I don't know if I'm weird. That's true. But that's just I am trying to figure out what works, like one step at a time. Like, hello, Inang OFW Vlogs. Thank you for coming. Yeah, feel free to share your ideas as well. So whatever is like right now, I come up with consequence and curfew, and as I go along, I will introduce them like concept or the strong words that they will encounter in the future. So by that time, they will not be like shocked, like what is that? And it is so hard to be strict with teenagers. Very good talaga, Sisi. I like that. Thank you, Eunice Live. Salamat. So like they will be like, Mom, what's going on? Like you're not that strict until now that I'm 15. So as much as possible, we are going to start right now with our kids. So number 4, we're almost done here. I'm reconnecting again. Okay, I'm back. So it's part of maturity is the delaying of gratification. So what I make sure that I won't give them whatever they want when we are in store. Like they're like it's pretty common with kids, right? They will like, oh mom, I really need this Barbie, I really need this toy, can we buy this please? And we're like, no, because you already have lots of toys in our house, and if you want to buy something, you need to bring your own money because they have their own money that we've been given them after they complete a chore. So we need to plan a purchase because that's very important when you like grow up someday. You need to make sure that you don't do impulse buying. Hi Yuki Warrior Gamer, morning po. Good morning. Saan ka ba ngayon? Pilipinas? Morning pa sa Pilipinas. 10 a.m. sa Pilipinas ngayon. Dito sa Canada is 7:15, I think. So so that's important to practice delaying our gratification. And sometimes, to be honest, even us grown, Marie's book of travel pala siya. Hello, thank you. So even as grown up, we have that impulse buying tendency, right? Like we cannot delay our the pleasure. So that's very childish like attitude sometimes that we do have. And right now I practice it with them already. So we just got back from a mall. We went walking, just like, of course, having our mask, and so just we can exercise, like walking around. And then, of course, my daughter like, oh mom, there's a toy store. Can I drop by and just say hi to toys? Like, yeah, of course, you can just say hi toys, but she know like, oh, I really want them, mom, but I know I can't buy that. I didn't bring my money. So we make sure that we tell them when we're going for like grocery and there's like a Walmart, for example, we tell them, okay, you can bring your money if you want to buy something, but we won't do that every month, right? It just every 2 or 3 months. But we make sure that it is a planned purchase because it's easier, guys. It's easier if they learn it right now, as early as right now, than in like they're 40 years old and it's like a lot of mess right there. And last is number five, no, second to the last, number five is about authority. We parents, we have the right to command. And I have read this article. They said it's okay to tell your children that because I'm the parents. Like, we don't need to explain it to them every single time we make a decision. That's a very traditional way, right? Like, they don't even explain at all before. Like, when you ask, mom, why are we doing this? Or ma, pa, tay, nay, whatever is that, they're like, because that's what life is. Like, hey, shut up. Like, we can't even talk our hearts out. And I don't think that's really that's really a good idea, especially I am reconnecting from time to time, da. Okay, I don't know what happened, but we're almost done. Sorry about my internet connection. But here we're talking about authority, and I don't have to ask my children. Like, for example, we're going to church every Sunday, right? That's our practice. That's our values as Christians. So I heard some parent would say, "Do you want to go to church today?" I was like, "Why do you have to ask that? Like, let's go to church." Like, that's how my father, my like I still that sound of my father still resonate in me until right now. Like, let's go to church. No laundry, walang laba, wala nothing. Even katulong sa bahay. They're like, okay, we're going to church. It's Sunday, so there's no option there. So even here in Canada, it's also common that kids would rather stay home, do their games, whatever, internet, and they won't go to like relatives' birthday party before the pandemic, of course. And they're like, "Do you want to go with our friend's party?" And then it's like, "No, I'll just stay home, mom." And then when like our friends get there, like, "Oh, where's your child? Where's blah blah blah?" And they're like, "Oh, they would rather stay home," and it will respect that. Well, for me, my husband and I, we agree, no, that doesn't work that way. We need to go to your aunt's house. It's a birthday of your cousin. No options, right? Because that won't kill them. And we are trying to introduce them to the concept of like family. And it comes with respect as well. Like, this is like huge. This is really the huge part of me growing up. And I taught this with my kids as well. We cannot just answer yes, like whenever or before we call our mama, papa. Like, my mom would call my name. I am Eden. My nickname is Eden. Like, Eden, like, come here. And then I was like, ha, oh, or we can't do that. We are, oh ma, oh pa, or yes ma. So I told my children as well, like, don't just say yes to me. Like, yes, yes what? Yes mom, yes dad. Like, we are very particular with that, the way they answer, because they have that, I don't know, I think it's huge, like for me. So when I tell them, time's up, put your iPad away, and they was like, okay, and then they're like grumpy, and I was like, okay, what? And they're like, okay, mom. Excuse me? Like, okay, mom. I am reconnecting again. I don't know what happened, but I am very particular with the way they answer me. So we make sure that yes, dad, yes, Lola, yes, auntie. They can't just say yes or whatever. Yeah, thank you for the word. They need to address us properly, and respect with the elderly is really huge, right? And number six, the last, finally. Thank you for staying with me. Assign every family member a chores. Like, I have to read this from our psychologist. It's never a good idea to shut down kids' idealistic mind because this is the stage where they are developing. I'm trying to read. Developing their skills to argue and talk like normal people. Shutting them down will never be good. Yeah, I agree with you. Like we have to like let them express their emotion or reasoning out, but they have to do it in a nice way. They can't just like yell at you, right? Because that's the one thing that I talk about, modifying the we cannot even talk back, we cannot even argue. So I feel bad growing up that I cannot say what really happened because my parents are like, okay, you're grounded, or palo, di ba? Palo back then. I was like, no, I didn't do it. I want to reason out, but we're not allowed to reason out. So I agree with Unica that we need to let kids express their themselves. They're developing their self-esteem there, but we have to make sure that they're doing it in a nice way. There's uh, the way how you say the message is as important. No, no, sorry, I mixed it up. The message is as important of like the manner or the way you deliver the message. So there's always better way of doing that. And even my child will like, Mom, that's not polite. You have to say please. I go, okay, please, Mia, tidy up your things. See, the kids will throw us like correct us as well, which I'm glad whenever they do that. That means that they grasp the concept. Like whenever my child correct me, like, Mom, you're not polite. I was like, oh, okay, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I know. And saying sorry also is part of the that's a newer approach. Like our parents, I think we seldom hear them say sorry to us, right? Okay, so number six. So about the chores, like I have assigned my kids to do chores, and this is like a little bit I don't know, controversial in this part of the world because growing up, I'm reconnecting again, cooking in a pot, right? But my children right now, like basic chores starts with like cleaning up their room, putting away their the clothes from the laundry. I made a video of that. Like I make sure that they have to do chores that is age appropriate as well. And sometimes like, oh, can you help me set up the table? They're doing that as well. But sometimes they're like, Mom, I'm doing this or that. Like I was like, okay, make sure that just tell me why you can't help me rather than ignoring me. So I told them why you can't help me. It's not like, Amanda, can you help me? Can you get the plates? And then I won't hear from them because they're ignoring me. And that's a no-no for me as well. I was like, you always respond to me why you can't help, or Mom, I'm sorry, I can't help this time. I'm tired. That's okay. That's fine with me if you're that is acceptable with me. Oh my gosh, my 1-year-old is coming to my life. So that's it for today's sharing. I know like life is very not that organized, but again, our motivation here is I have to read this first. Very true. Just guide them accordingly while on training. Yes, Cece, that's right. Like parenting is like trying to figure out as we go along. Because my husband and I were trying to figure out how this work, and I told him like it's okay. Let's be kind to ourselves because again, this is our first time to become parents. Like we're never been there before. This is our first time. So let's be kind to ourselves. Talk this out and make sure that we agree. Like it is important that we agree with whatever approach that we are trying to implement with our kids. And I think I where's the chat? Encourage interaction. Yes, that's right. Encourage interaction. Like they have their own output. And sometimes I'm telling them like, what do you think with a 2 hour screen time a day? Like, Mom, I want to do more, but you know why I'm doing this to you, right? The effect in your brain and your eyes, and they argue, like, they agree, I mean. So it's a matter of explaining to them and asking their input as well, because that's very important. So again, I love the idea that parenting is not really raising great children, but raising children to become great and functional adults someday. So that's our ultimate motivation. So if you have, okay, I was disconnected again. By all means, do whatever that whatever is best for your family. As long as like we are really intentional. I'm guilty with this as well, that we tend to become lazy parents, but just to be intentional putting away our phones and try to listen to them as well. Ganito para nawala yung ano. Ganito parents ko but my father is ganito parents ko but my father dear is super strict. You right? Yeah. Napaka-strict nila ng father natin and they're like humanda ka ngayon sa tatay mo para may ganyan lagi. I have never felt being a parent until sabi ni Eunice, I have never felt being a parent until my kids turn 9. Seriously. Seriously? Kasi we have our different stages, diba? I think for me, because I am the second of like, we are 7. So I am the second child. So I think that also comes with your how many younger siblings you have. Because for me, I think I am more in the authority because I am the second child among 7. So I still have 5 younger siblings that I could like practice my parenting, I think, back then. Yeah, I think that explained. I was sometimes like, where did this idea come from? Like me being disciplinarian, me being like trying to be a good parent to our kids. Because I also read some like research, some article. I mean, it says like this bad parenting is like a pandemic in our world today, and the cause is like rebellious kids, like kids who are in drugs and a lot of like rebellious ways because huh entitled kids. Yeah, thank you for the for the word. In a lot of entitled kids in our world today, like they have rights and everything that we can't even, and they get offended right away whenever we say something to them. So I was like, no, I don't want my kids to be like that. So as early as now, I want to tell them that no, that's not the way it is. Pagdating sa needs and want talaga may yes, si DJ is si Daisy DJ Dion's yung parent niya is really doing a good job raising her. Pag mahigpit talaga, pag this is need, as much as possible be consistent with that. So thank you guys for being with me like 30 minutes na. It's like feeling ko hindi ako nagdumiretso sa point. It's like casual chikahan lang, but this has been my passion to really share to you what's in my heart, like, and I get it. We all parents, we need each other. We need to like share this with each other, learn from each other, and we owe it to our children. So nice video. Okay, thank you, DJ. Thank you guys, 6 people out there. And my goal really is like, even if I have like just inspired one parent there, one parent to be, or one guardian, because I believe even if you are not biological parent, I believe that one way or another you become a parent to any child there, or nieces, nephews. So this is great, amiga. Thank you, Nika. Well done. Thank you. This is Amanda. Say hi.
Hi.
Okay. So thank you guys for coming. Until my next vlog, I hope that you have learned something. Your kids is lucky. I'm trying to, I also have lots of negatives. Okay, mga background. Say hi. Oh, they just want to say hi. Come. This is my husband, the sperm donor. Say Mia, say hi.
Hi, Poopy.
Who? You ready to say?
We do. Thanks so much. Thank you guys for coming. Bye. Till next time.
Daddy.
No, I'm good.
Aww.
Okay.
I want.
Hey.